In my opinion, the race and ethnic culture of the characters in operas like Porgy and Bess, Othello, Madama Butterfly are central to the narrative. These operas are not just about individual characters, it's about the cultural and social context in which those characters exist. In Porgy and Bess, for example, the characters' experiences as African Americans living in a racial segregated community are a key part of the narrative. The struggle, joys, and complexities of their lives are deeply related to their racial and cultural identities. Similarly, in Othello, the racial prejudice that protagonist Othello faces in a predominantly white society drives much of the story's drama and conflict. This is just my point of view, huh? As in Madama Butterfly, the clash between Japanese and American cultures is at the center of the opera's narrative. The character of Chocho-san, a Japanese woman, deals with issues of identity, belonging, and cultural assimilation in her relationships with Pinkerton and her own son. If we change cultural elements already ingrained in the story, then we must change the story a little, or maybe a lot. I am agree that the way in which Puccini represented Butterfly is not the most reliable about the meaning of a geisha. It seems that he justified many parts of the story by mixing them, maybe because he didn't understand. So he was mixing them with his own explanations of life in his European context. Like maybe women came to prostitution out of need for money and because women were not allowed to work. But as is known to be a geisha, you had to have a certain economic level and a very specific education that not everybody had. From my point of view, wanting to think that it does not matter whether you change the genotype or cultural traits in the representation seems to me not to give importance to the story and its context, which for me is fundamental for the development of the characters in the story. In Butterfly, for example, had not if Butterfly had not been Japanese, she wouldn't have committed suicide through harakiri to die with honor. In fact, when audiences attend these operas, I think they expect to see characters whose identities and experiences align with the cultural and historical context in which the stories takes place. The naturalism of the characters, as conceived by the composers and librettists, is crucial to the authenticity and integrity of the narrative. In essence, the race and ethnic culture of the characters in these operas are not incidental details, but fundamental aspects of their identities and the worlds they inhabit. Understanding and appreciating this cultural dimension is essential to fully engaging and understanding the great diversity of human experiences represented in these classics works of opera. Now, I'm not saying that we cannot innovate and give a new representation to what we have already seen 1,000 times, but I am saying that we must respect the essence of history and the culture we are talking about, because each culture is a way of seeing and perceive the world around us. In other hand, about what are the limits when it comes to choosing characters in these operas based on race and ethnicity, I don't think there should be any limits, and that race or ethnicity should not be an impediment for you as an actor, as an actress, as a singer, to be or not selected in the cast. But because you are able to interpret the character with credibility, I also believe that it should not be a problem for a white singer to act as the race of ethnicity of a non-white character if the actor has the ability to represent the character, as long as the culture and their way of representing it are respected. Thank you for hearing me. And it's just my perspective of the things.